What is lucid dreaming? Lucid dreaming. Other words, how to be woke in your sleep. The proper way to say it probably be how to be awake while you're sleeping. A lot of people speak of all of these spiritual gifts and abilities and things like that. And it's one of those things that y'all are hearing me break down a lot often, especially recently. And this right here wouldn't necessarily be classified as a spiritual gift. Again, I like people to get down to the root of what the words are that they're saying. And if they're not able to do that, then okay, they may not be able to move forward. But I do understand what spiritual was supposed to mean, what it actually meant. And it was speaking about superiority, it was speaking about advancement, it was speaking about being abnormal or supreme as opposed to just being layman. Okay, that's what it really meant. And then again, it took on another turn and went airy or etheric or whatever these other words or terms are. But this right here is a mental ability. Okay? It's a mental ability, and not everybody has that ability. Now, some people may have the experience. Okay, there's a chance that you'll be dreaming and then you'll wake up while you're in a dream, meaning you'll access a higher state of consciousness, which we'll get into that. That's not a word salad, that's an actual thing. We will get into that. You'll be in the middle of the dream and you'll access a higher state of consciousness and you didn't do it on purpose. Okay, that'll occur. And scientists will say most people will probably have that experience at least one time in their life. Okay, but then you have the people who have recurring lucid dreams, not just because they're in a dream and then they wake up in the dream, but because they actually have the ability to go from the waking life state into that lucid dream state or states intentionally, consciously, or at will. And that's what I want to get into at this point in time. So we're speaking on lucid dreaming. First, we gotta go understand what is essentially a dream. And the simplest way to explain what a dream is would be like some type of stimulus that's when people talk about going within, it would literally be the equivocal of that. Okay, scientifically, the stimulus is happening inside of the brain. So internal let's say internally generated stimulus. Okay, that'll be what the dream is essentially. When you go into that resting state and the body rest and the muscles relax and all these other states go into play or activate and all these other parts of the brain shut down or stop having so much activity, you will start to see these images. And a lot of times the images are based on, remember they used to tell us when we were younger, you got about 72 hours, this is what I was told. You got about 72 hours that the brain takes into account in order for you to experience these dreams. And it's because of the things that you're experiencing in your waking life, all right, that these dreams are even able to occur. And it's one of the ways that the brain works out all of these ideas. So we know what a dream is, and then you put this word state next to it. What is a dream state? And again, the simplest answer for that would tie into this. And the dream state would be your like world or your realm or your state, the place that you can exist in where that dream is able to play out. And that will be different domains or different realms or different arenas, depending on, again, what your experiences are. All right. The types of memories you've already had. Okay, things like that. And then when you go into the resting state, you'll experience it. So this is a matter of the dream state, okay, or the dream itself, the ability to have the dream, which most people do. And then you have some people who are on the rare side of the spectrum and they say, I don't have dreams or I don't dream. I personally never experienced that. So people ask me that all the time. They say, what does it mean when I don't dream? Or what does it mean when I can't remember I don't know that personally because I never experienced that. Ever since I was younger, not only have I been one of the ones who dream often, I was introduced to lucid dreaming around the age of 4 years old by my my mother. Okay, because she found it fascinating. So as soon as I was able to perceive information or receive information to have a conversation with her, she wanted me to know what it was. And a lot of the techniques I'm gonna talk to y'all about, I actually learned from her, from my and she's one of the ones, the main one in the community that was exposing me as I grew up to certain abilities that I could go in and tell you about scientifically so you'll know how to activate it for yourself. So now that we got that out of the way, we know what lucid dreaming would be lucid dream. Well, I don't know if we talked about it much, but the main point of lucid dreaming is in the word itself. So we have to break down the word. So let's start with lucid. Okay, you'll see something familiar, like the movie right there, Lucy. You can start to pull out or extract that you're talking about something that's dealing with advanced consciousness or advanced abilities. Okay, well, how or why would we say that? Because this word lucid brings you to this word lux. Okay, lux. That's Latin for what? Light. All right. And for those who've been walking with me, you know what I'm speaking about. If not, you may be new, then that's fine. Light was always speaking about in the orders, information, sciences, sacreds, gems, secrets. Okay. Things that people didn't really know when they exist in the dark realm. And we'll get to that too. Okay. So you have light. Okay. Another way that they would have said it was lucidus. All right. Lucidus. Okay. Or lucere. Lucere, okay? Lucere was saying to shine. So not just light, it was saying to shine, okay? So all of these go hand in hand. Interestingly enough, when you're saying lucid or lucid, doesn't that sound like Lucifer, okay? Because when you say Lucifer, what does that mean? Lu, cipher, or Lucifer, okay? It means simply lux, and this word right here, fer or ferro, okay? Lux is what? Light. And ferro is to say what? To carry. Okay? So Lucifer or lucere, lucidus, lucy, all of this is dealing with light. And I told you what light means essentially when it comes to the orders, all right? Those who use this type of lingo or language. And the opposite of light will be what? Darkness. Okay? As in the opposite of white will be what? Black. And when you're speaking in terms of the dream or the dream state or what they refer to as drogmus, okay? Drogmus. Drogmus meant an illusion or a deception. So if you go look up the etymology of dream, you'll end up at deception, saying that this is a world, but they're not looking at it as a real world or a reality. So what is lucid dreaming when you're dealing with the etymology? You're dealing with bringing light to darkness. Okay? You see how even in the words, you can get what you're able to do in real life and what these orders are teaching, these sacred orders are teaching, okay, or these fraternities like Masonry, Rosicrucian order they're teaching. You can bring light to a dark world. And when you bring light to a dark world, consciousness increases, okay, or the states of consciousness elevate or ascend. And that's what happens when you're experiencing a lucid dream. You could even be in the middle of a deception or a dream and not know in the beginning of the dream that you're dreaming, but then there could occur an awareness point or a shift in awareness where you say, I know this is a dream. You understand that? So that's what lucid dreaming is, essentially being awake while you're in your dream state. And that means you'll be able to control your dreams. You'll be able to do a lot of things. And we'll get into all of that too. Okay, so again, not everybody experiences it, but after you watch this, and even just watching this alone, just because you watch this, it's exposing you to one of the realities that could be yours if you grab hold of it. Not everybody will. All right. So when we speaking of dream states, what partners with dream states is called frequency bands. Frequency bands. All right. Another way to say this is states of consciousness. So there are various states of consciousness that we're experiencing day in and day out. It's not just happening in a dream state. Okay. So an easy way or acronym, okay, if you want, or lettering order for you to remember those states of consciousness when it comes to lowest state to highest state frequency wise, you'll go D, T, A, B, G. And remember this word tab in the middle. Put the D on the left, the G on the right. Okay. This right here is delta state. This T right here is theta state. This A right here, alpha state. This B right here, beta state. And lastly, the G, gamma state. Okay? So essentially, delta would be deep sleep state. It's easy to remember, you rhyme it. Deep sleep is when the brain's wavelengths are the slowest. The frequencies are the slowest. All right. Now, a lot of people a lot of people that say you don't really dream when you're in that state, even though you could have a dream while you're in that state. And we'll get into where the dream actually starts to occur when we're talking about the process or the position, what do you call it? The steps of dreams, scientifically stated. Okay. So you have delta, deep sleep. You have theta, which is right there above that, okay? Because if delta right here is 4 hertz, okay? So that's 4 hertz, and you'll see it being measured by hertz, okay? Right above that, you have the light sleep. It's still sleep or a sleep state of consciousness. All right, this is where you do all your meditation or your relaxation and things like that. Okay, that's where you access those types of states. This is where a lot of times they call this the inspiration state or the divine inspiration state, where they say they were able to get ideas for creativity, source or pull certain influence from an unknown or unseen reality. Most of the time, they were just talking about alpha state. Okay, excuse me, theta state. Speaking of which, alpha is the calm state or the calm, just put calm awake state, because it's further away from that delta where you're assuredly like you're really sleep. Okay. And then you're going into the wakened state or the awakening state or awakened life. Speaking of which, beta is awake. All right. I got a song called Beta Wave. You go listen to it. It was speaking about people. It's time for people to wake up. Okay. So the beta state is the awake state where you got all your focus. All right. All your, it's like the frontal lobe activation, decision making, and things like that. Okay. And then lastly, you got this most active one, okay, which is gamma. And that's what it's similar to beta, but it's more intense. Okay. So you have intense focus. Whatever information is that you're actively there. Intense focus, intense decision make. Everything that beta is just on steroids. You understand? So remember, DTABG, tab in the middle. These are your states. Go ahead and screenshot if you need to. Actual states of consciousness. So when people start talking about states of consciousness, all right, if they're not speaking in terms of this, a lot of times it's just them, again, word salading, using words as fillers, and they don't really have an understanding yet. But the good thing about it, or the key thing about it here, is you can introduce them to that. So when people start talking about, oh yeah, I'm in a higher level of consciousness, you mean like, oh, you mean gamma? Because gamma would literally be heightened awareness, if you don't know. So go ahead, let's put that there. Heightened awareness. So anytime somebody talk about I'm on a higher level of consciousness or higher frequency, and all this, my state of awareness or my state of consciousness is higher, pull up gamma, and they'll be able to see, okay, that's what you mean to say. That's where you start talking about 30 hertz. Okay, so the deep sleep is 4 hertz. The beta state the theta state would be 4 to 8, anywhere between 4 to 8 hertz. Okay, anywhere from the 8 to 12, that's alpha, 8 to 12. Okay, and then from your 13 to your 30, that's beta. Okay, and then you got the 30 right here sitting as the king state or the hierarchy state, and that's gamma. You understand? Then they got different ways that they'll say, because if I'm speaking in terms of active intelligence, then that would be called high alpha, low beta, if that makes sense. Because the low of beta would be 13, and the high of alpha would be what? 12, 13. So when you speak in terms of heightened intelligence or active intelligence, that's high alpha, low beta. So when you start learning stuff like that, you say, okay, you can look at people and you can actually tell or make out what realm they're in or state of consciousness they're activating from. Okay? If you see somebody that's lethargic and dragging around and they slow, they drowsy, they're actually awake, but their brain has a lot of delta waves. And don't think it is just one part of the brain. These waves are all over the different lobes, all over the different parts of the brain. You understand that? If you see, like, let's say you got an archer, okay, and they're about to pull back the arrow, okay, just imagine that that's the thing. All right, they about to, I don't know how the arrow up there, but his hand, there go his hand. And he about to pull back. I don't know why his head that small. Stop asking questions. He about to pull back the arrow. He goes into alpha. Another way to say alpha state, just put acceptance. Okay, and I know we got to go deeper into it, but say acceptance, because it's like you're there, you're present, but you're not doing a lot of uh, uh, cognitive thinking. You're not doing. You're really accept. It's similar to that flow state. All right, where it's like, okay, you make a decision that the focus is relevant to your existence at that time. That's how they go from, shooting this arrow at 30 meters to shooting this arrow at 1,000 meters and hitting the target. You see, that's that type of state. So alpha state activates when you go and you clear your mind, you're calm, you're present, and you accept reality right then and there. And focus becomes a part of that reality, and you activate it that way. You see what I'm explaining to you? Now, all of this could be picked up on. Everything that this isn't some, oh, this is a theory, and they trying to figure it. Well, they still trying to figure certain states out. That's true. But then they have technology like the EEG tech, which EEG is just electroencephalogram. Okay, electroencephalogram is that technology. It uses the electrodes, right? They attach the electrodes to your scalp. They hook it up to you. You see these same type of machines in the movies, and the electrodes pick up on and record any type of electrical impulses that the brain is sending off. And that goes to their readers, where you can see these things doing this right here and picking up on certain wavelengths. And you know what I'm saying? So that's what you see. When you ever seen that in the movies and they doing them tests, that's because they're tracking brain activity, okay, to see where someone is. And they can study the dream states, okay, or the dream states of consciousness using these types of technologies. Now, the technologies they got now, the target, dream incubator, all of that, there's a lot of those technologies. It's far more advanced than what they want to tell people about. You can literally give people nightmares. You can inject thoughts. You can hijack or hack neural waves, all kind of stuff with the technology. But the main thing for the EEG is to read brainwave activity. So you don't have to accept what I'm saying. You go look it up, and then you may be able to visit some of these facilities, these I think hospitals or whatever facility that allow. I wish I could tell you the exact facility where they have the technology at. Other than the hospitals, you go and ask to see if you can see some of it being operated, so you don't have to just accept it, and then you'll get a clearer understanding of the states of consciousness. Okay, again, it's not just when you're resting that these states of consciousness are active. Okay, so all of these are active daily, and different people go into different states more than others. Some people go into delta more, some people go into gamma more. As you can imagine, if this were a pyramid from the lowest to the highest, okay, percentile wise, this would be the lower percentile. Okay, actually, this would be the higher percentile. Higher percentile as the lowest, or delta, and then this would be the lowest percentile or the lower percentile. Less people activate or access gamma. Less people have heightened awareness. You see? So the gamma would be the top. Okay, let me give you a drawing. If I were to draw this out as a cross, okay? Let's say we got a cross. And we're grown, so we know a cross not sitting on top of the ground. So you got to have something that the cross is embedded in, no matter what they told us. Ain't no nigga finna carry no cross and just sit it on top of the ground. I don't know who they thought they was fooling with that one. Okay, cool. So you have the base, okay, which would mean that this cross would have to be in the ground and stuck up some type of way, or held up some type of way. Okay, so let's say this is the base. All right, we'll call the base delta. All right, and then let's say this right here will be called theta. This is where it gets interesting. Now, this was my own thoughts. Now, you can look into this if you want to, But just based off of my exploration of alpha and beta, it seems like they're twins. Okay, and we can get to that in a second, but it seems like they're twins. So you have alpha and you have beta. Why would I say they're twins? Because you're still awake in this state. You're still focused in this state. It's just, it's not the same type of focus. It's more of an acceptance focus. It's more of a calm focus. This one is more of a heightened focus, and you're dealing with whatever type of information is being presented to you from a heightened sensory standpoint. You understand that? And then you have gamma. So this is the cross for the states of consciousness. This is how that would look like. All right. Now, if we were to illustrate that same cross as a pyramid, can you see? This is where most people are in the dream state. Okay. Allegorically speaking. And this is where fewer people are. Where they say, wide is the gate that leads to destruction. Most people are dragging and lagging behind. Okay. They're drowsy. They're lethargic. They're not active. Activate yourselves again. Go up toward gamma. Interestingly enough, this right here appears on that electromagnetic spectrum that we spoke about when you're going from the lower radioactive waves, microwaves, infrared waves, all the way past the Roy G. Biv or the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, up past the ultraviolet, the X-ray, you get to the gamma. That's on the end of that scale also. You see, so gamma seems to be something about a game. Okay, I'll give you a gem about gamma though. When you say gamma, all right, that's that like that letter G. Okay, gamma, gimel. Okay, gimel. Another word is gemel. Okay, and guess what that means? Twins. That's when you done figured out both the negative and the positive. You want to know why I would tell you to pay attention to that though? Because when you're saying this word here, it's similar to that word gamul. And you go look this up, gamul. And gamul was speaking in terms of a reward or a punishment. You understand? So it's a polarized word in terms of that same word right there, which would have been reward. Sometimes biblically they say your reward will be this, but it's not a good thing for you or a favorable thing. So you see, you become an adept, you figure out both of these. All right, that's that correspondence we were talking about the other day. You see? So if y'all want to take a picture of that. All right? So now that we got that, you understand frequency bands. It's not magic. It's not spirit science. It's just science. Okay? So here's what we need to know. Before we start getting into the lucid dreaming, the hows and the do's and the don'ts, or at least from my advisory, okay? We need to know what's happening the moment that we start to step into that lucid dreaming realm. And this is true. Perception of reality shifts. When? When does the perception of reality shifts? It shifts when you navigate, and keep this word here centered, navigate these different states. I would say waters, but I don't want to confuse anybody because water is just one state of matter. So let's just keep it at state. All right. So when you navigate these different states, literally reality begins to shift. How many people ever been up late at night talking to somebody on the phone, and then you're running your mouth, you're running your mouth, you're running your mouth, you're running your mouth. Then all of a sudden you don't remember what you were saying, but you were still saying something to someone, to the person you're on the phone with, but you can't remember it, and you done started to drift off. How many people experience that? How many people experience where you done stayed up longer than what you were supposed to, what you planned to, and you start experiencing hallucinations? Anybody experience hallucinations where you start hearing, here's what people hear. They hear barking. Some people hear sirens. Some people hear children laughing or playing, children laughing and playing. Some people will hear popping sounds. Okay? Or what'll happen is you'll be what's called in and out. You'll be in and out of the quote unquote dream state. Okay? So your perception of reality will literally shift when you travel through these states or you navigate these states. Why do I put the word navigate? Because navigation takes place on two different levels. Okay, it takes place on two different levels. What are those levels? You have conscious navigation, and then you have subconscious navigation. Okay, this one here is the most normal, and this one here is the most abnormal. All right, where people are able to consciously shift through the states. Once you know what the states are, though, then it'll be easier for you to do that. If you want to go to Delta, you can just relax and chill out. Okay, slug around all day, you'll be in Delta. You want to go into Gamma? One of the easiest ways to activate Gamma is three things. Okay, let's say ERM. Let's go exercise, read, meditate. You can do all three of these in a day and you'll be on gamma timing. Gamma timing. Potentially, again, I don't know everybody's brain, but if you want to potentially access that gamma, get up, exercise. After you're done, don't just read something informative. Okay, read something that challenges you. All right, read informative, and then you meditate, meaning you sit still, you relax, or you take a walk, or something that doesn't require as much activity. Okay, you would have been pushing yourself toward gamma. All right, now the super X Games mode is to do all three of these. How you gonna do all three of them? Hey, go do it, see what happens. But that's how you potentially access that gamma state, because it's all about intense focus, intensified focus, heightened awareness. Okay, so you have different types of navigation. Your focus, if you want to be a lucid dreamer, is conscious navigation. That's what you want to activate. All right, and I'm about to teach you how. Okay, so when you increase, keep this key in mind. When you increase delta, what happens? You will decrease your awareness of what? Physical reality, as it's called. Physical reality. When there's more of these waves present, when there are more of these waves present, then there are less of the gamma, less of the beta, less of the alpha. And if you wanted to jump up those scales, especially when you're experiencing sleep, or moderate those scales so that you can access the alpha and the theta without seeping too deep into delta, then you need to remember that key. Okay? Why would I tell you to remember that key? Because it's not just about when you're sleeping, it's about when you're awake too. So when you're doing things in your everyday life, all right, if you're more of an active person, if you're more of an optimistic person, then lucid dreaming will be easier for you. If you're a pessimistic, negative person, it's going to be harder for you because you've already trained your brain that way. You see what I'm saying? Literally go look into what I'm telling you. Lucid dreaming is a matter of optimism. It's a matter of feeling like you're in control already. Okay, it's a matter of being in control, not just having the feeling. So if you want to increase your chances of being able to control your dreams and benefit all of those things that, or receive all those benefits that come from that, then you need to start shifting your mentality. All right, where they talk about that half full, half empty, you need to be more half full. Okay, when it comes to the water, you need to be more half full. You see, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go research that. Where they did tests on people, they say if you got a glass of water, all right, or a glass of any liquid, whatever, mostly the glass of water. What is it? If it's midway, I'll probably be the only one to say midway. I don't know why they didn't figure that out. But if it's midway, is it half empty or is it half full? You see, now the central reality is the shit is midway, but you want to be more of a half full person. You see what I'm saying? If it's raining, that's not a bad thing. Okay, if it's raining, then that's a chance for vegetation and things like that to grow. Or it's a thing where you can get out there because most people won't be out there. You can drive more and get more things done because traffic will be down. You see what I'm saying? It's certain types of mentality that you'll have. When you increase your optimism and you decrease your pessimism, lucid dreaming becomes more probable for you. All right, I have to bring you through all of these different types of states so you can know what you're doing daily that'll activate it. Okay, so that now people ask me all the time, how do I lucid dream? I say, what are you doing to your everyday routine? Is your everyday routine consistent of you feeling like you're in control of things? All right, not in a negative way. I'm not talking about a control freak. I mean, do you take accountability for your actions? Do you control the things you can control? Do you not attempt to and waste energy on the things that you can't control? Do you live your life that way? If you live your life that way, then you probably already lucid dream. This is scientifically proven, is what I'm telling you. You probably already, if you are already a meditative person, if you meditate already, if you pray already, if you already accessing theta, okay, which is what meditation will bring about or prayer will bring about, guess what increases alongside that? Creativity, your intuition, all these other things. So guess what? That transfers over into the dream state. So when you're dreaming, you'll have similar responses or similar experiences when it comes to the stimulus. You see what I'm saying? So even if that stimulus is generated inside of you, all right, you'll know, okay, you'll literally be able to tell the difference between the dream state and the awakened state, which that's the fundamentals of, or the foundation of being able to say, okay, let me control this dream because I know it's a dream. The main difficulty when it comes to people and trying to activate that is hard for them to distinguish. So they have challenges with distinguishment. All right, where they'll be in a dream and they can't tell whether or not it's a dream until they wake up or until the dream starts to fade away, and then they'll say, okay, that was a dream. All right, so let's get into some of these techniques. I want to talk to y'all about it. Let's get into some of these techniques. All right, one technique, since we started on that, since we just made that point, this was what I was taught by my mother, my umi, is a statement, a mantra, if you will, an utterance that you can say over and over and over again verbally. You don't have to say it verbally, but it may help to say it verbally. And it is, I know, I know this is a dream. I know this is a dream. I know this is a dream. When you start feeling sleepy and you're laying there, I know this is a dream. I know this is a dream. You might feel, listen, it might feel weird at first because it felt weird to me when I was in kindergarten, pre-K, whenever it was, and I was learning it. Okay, I was 4 years old. But then I started saying it while I was in the dream. And I remembered that I was just laying down and I'll be walking around and doing things. I say, wait, this is a dream because it's already there. So that repetitiveness can also activate lucid dreaming. I know this is a dream. I know this is a dream. I know this is a dream. Okay, so that's one of the main techniques, being able to say that and especially when you start entering into that theta state. And you'll know theta state because things you'll feel this woo woo woo. When you start feeling that woo 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 type feeling in your brain, that's when you're entering into theta, family. It means you're up, you're awake, but you're accessing that dream world right then and there. That's where you get into the conversation. We talk about it when I speak to y'all about a little bit of the precautionary measures and all of that with hypnagogic hallucinations and things like that, or hypnagogia, okay? Or say you're in between states, transitional state, okay? So theta state is the best time. Not just you walking around all day. You could do that if you just want to leave that mark there or that imprint there. What I would advise is when you're in that theta state, when you're about to go to sleep, I know this is a dream. 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 And watch what winds up happening. It may take you a day. It may take you a few days. It may take you a month. But I'm telling you, it happened immediately with me. But it depends on the person. However, you will be priming yourself to have these experiences with these techniques that I'm giving you. Okay? Another one is just so simple. Attentive activation. What does it mean? Attentive activation. Attentive activation is like, let's say we got this honey bottle right here, and I read the nutrition facts, about 43 servings per container, total fat 0%, sodium 0%. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's honey. All right, I just read it, but I didn't just take the bottle and just drink the honey. Now I'm reading the bottle and I'm paying attention to it. It said, okay, crafted for exceptional taste and award-winning flavor. Thy word is sweeter than honey. Okay, cool. Read more nutritional facts. That's the analogy. When you pick up a water bottle, read the water bottle. When you meet a person, read the person. Pay more attention. Actively pay attention. Okay, no matter what it is that you're doing. When you're writing a thing, pay attention to your writing. Pay attention to whether or not you write the same way that you used to a year ago. Pay more attention to details. When you're listening to a song, don't just hear the song, hear the production. Listen for the hi-hat, listen for the snare, listen for the bass, okay, or the bass line. Listen for the whatever it is in it, the acoustics, whatever acoustics. Listen for the Congo. Whatever music you're listening to, don't just listen to the voice of the person. And even if you're listening to the voice of the person, try to find the voice of the person. Is the voice of the person more on top of the vocals, like a Jay-Z song or a Drake song or a Rick Ross song? Or is it more blended in like a Future song or a Lil Baby song or a Young Thug song? You see what I'm saying? When you start doing that, it's like you're training yourself. Say, not only am I more apt to be able to control my reality, literally the things that are going on around me, I'm also in tune with it to know the components that I'm controlling or to know other components that I would even go into control. This all will transfer over to your dream state. You understand that? So I know this is a dream. Attentive activation, pay more attention to details. Activate that. You can play brain games. Literally, you go on your phone, go to YouTube, go to the internet, whatever, I don't know. Download some apps and play brain games, intuition games, memory games, whatever. And you're training your brain, say, I'm not normal. Once when you start talking to your brain this way and walking your brain through this process, your brain is more wise about you than you are. It's going to know, it's going to pay attention. As a matter of fact, your brain is going to help you decide whether or not I'm giving you something that will be useful for you, or you know what I'm saying, or whether you think is useful. Your brain is going to be the determinant in all of that. You see what I'm saying? So it's already steps ahead of you. While you're listening to me, some of y'all thinking on it already. Some of y'all planning on doing some of these things. Okay, that's because your brain is receptive enough, all right, to be able to take this into consideration, and you will be able to use it for certain things. If not, then you'll just shove it off. Okay, so brain games, intuition, puzzles, memory games, word games, whatever. Brain games, games that require critical thinking. All right, activation of the frontal lobe or the prefrontal cortex. Okay, and you're gonna need that because that's what helps you access higher states like gamma and alpha. You know what I'm saying? Beyond just the theta. Okay, and beta. All right. So I know this is a dream. I'm gonna get to y'all questions. Attentive activation, brain games. Okay, I want to tell you something though. Now, this one I have to be cautious with, right? And I'm meaning that. I'm not trying to be funny. I do got to be cautious with it, so I'm gonna tell y'all to be cautious with it. This is the 30 cycle countdown. 30 cycle countdown. All right. Now, the reason I'm saying I want to be cautious with it because I'm still studying this myself, even though I started doing this when I was like 8 years old. And I taught my brothers around me how to do it, right? The 30 cycle countdown is where you're finding a bridge to like this. It's like monotone. Okay, the monotone usage activates a bridge between your conscious self and your subconscious self. Okay, so 30 cycle countdown works like this. You count from 30 down to 0. And then you go up to 29 and you count down to 0. Then you go up to 28 and you count down to 0. Okay, and you do that until you get to what? From 1 to 0 to 0. All right? The reason why I'm telling you to be cautious about it, though, again, is because most people aren't aware of what's shoved deep down in their subconscious and the things they've been avoiding, all the things that they call shadow work. People haven't done a lot of reflective thinking. Some people haven't done these things. So when you do stuff like this, okay, I'm just saying it can open certain parts of your brain that you may not be ready to open. So you just do that cautiously. If you're going to do this, just similar to all of these things, but if you're going to do this, especially, I would advise don't watch pornography. Don't be watching horror movies. Don't, anything that would leave blemishes on your subconscious, okay, or increase that traumatic presence in your subconscious. I would advise against that. Okay, if you're doing this, you want to make sure you're in a peaceful state. You had a peaceful day or a peaceful few days. You want to prep yourself. You drank a lot of water. You had a lot of optimistic thinking and things like that. But this right here, listen, you can't just take my word for it. This right here, if anything, if you have trouble sleeping, right, this right here puts you to sleep. It'll take you right there. But there's a bridge before you go from a state to another state. It's like a radio dial. Okay, when you changing stations, you got one station over here, 104.5. You got this station over here, 102.9. Okay, then there's this in between. That's what I'm telling you, just to be cautious of. Not trying to scare nobody. It's not fear mongering. Just be cautious of it, because when you start shifting, you know what I mean? Just keep fear out of your mind. All right, because when you shift, that's when you get exposed to all of that gray area, the noise and things like that people are ignoring day in and day out, that exists within their subconscious, is still stored there. Okay, traumatic events, things like that, bad memories, all of that. It's not all bad, but there are some things that people try to stay away from, even especially when it comes to themselves. Okay, so I don't want nobody to be mad at me talking about I expose them to demons and things like that. Sometimes demons appear as different versions of yourself that you don't try to shove down. You see, so just be cautious with that. But this is one of those ones. Everything that I'm talking to you about, okay, tried and proven. All right, I've dealt with people that used it. It works. Okay, now I didn't really have to use a lot of these myself, but I did use them. I have tested these things, so I know. Okay, so anybody that's looking into it, and listen, it's some lucid dreamers in here. They know I'm telling the truth, and they ain't never heard none of this, but they know it's the truth based off just that, again, that foundation of what lucid dreaming is. Other things you can do simply: dream journal. Okay, this means, what if I can't remember a lot of my dream? Still dream journal. If you wake up and you didn't have a dream, still dream journal. Write about what you would have liked to dream about. Get your body used to, put yourself in a cycle of recording these experiences. It tells your brain that it's important to have them, that you want them. So guess what your brain will do? It'll start to retain those experiences. And if they're not there, it's possible that that brain will know this is important. I need to create these experiences. It's still you, essentially, literally, centrally, it is you. Okay, but you'll be able to put up a routine that'll help you gather the information that you'll need to be able to activate that lucid dreaming. Dream journaling. Something even more simple: dietary alteration. Why? Because of the will that it requires. And will, all of that goes into the prefrontal lobe, frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex, whatever you want to call it, activation of the higher self, whatever you want to call it, making better decisions. Oh, I don't want to eat this junk food anymore. I want to eat this. Just because you're doing that, then the brain will take notice of that. So dietary alterations: change your diet, eat healthier. That'll also help you with mental clarity. You won't feel as sluggish. You'll have different energy, all of that. Now, this is something that I was looking at one of the comments, and somebody said, yo, I do drugs, so I don't, get to experience this. I don't know if I'm spelling that. I do drugs, so I don't get to experience certain things. I don't have the dreams, things like that. Rehabilitation. Okay, cool. Rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, right? Meaning, not saying you got to go and admit yourself to a rehab institute. Okay, you can rehabilitate yourself. I got a book called Rehab. All right, I'll find a way to start letting y'all know about my books. Okay, but you can get in touch with me or ask me in a comment, and I'll find a way to get you the books. Okay, but the rehabilitation aspect for the person or people who talk about the drug usage and how they not having the dreams, this could help, because once you take yourself through the rehabilitation, then you'll be able to avoid certain things that could discourage you. All right, nightmares or DRDs. What is a DRD? A DRD is a drug relapse dream. Okay, where a lot of people, they start breaking a habit or breaking an addiction, and then that addiction starts to show up in their dream, or they'll be distancing themselves from, or rehabilitating themselves from a drug or a substance. Okay, anybody that may have been dealing with or struggling with substance abuse, and then it'll show up in their dream, and that could be troubling to them. So you avoid certain things like that when you go through the process and endure the process of rehabilitation. Okay, you'll have less nightmares. Okay, you won't be suffering from disorientation, okay, or illusion and things like that, or trauma that comes from the side effects of the drugs. So you'll be ruling out the nightmares. Again, all of these things, nightmares, the what do you call it, the drug relapse dream, all of that. These types of things could discourage somebody from pursuing lucid dreaming. The only thing about that is lucid dreaming is a remedy for things like this. Okay? It's a remedy. That way you'll know, oh no, this is a dream. I don't have to do this thing. I'm just being tempted like I'm normally tempted into everyday life. Some people may deal with temptation everyday life. Then that's normal. You know what I'm saying? It won't be a discouraging thing. Say, what's happening with me? What's wrong with my brain? Nothing's wrong with your brain. It's just you're sorting things out. You see what I'm explaining to you? Then you'll be able to say, oh no, this isn't a nightmare. Lucid dreamers know what I'm talking about. It could be a dragon on his way to eat your head off. You'd be like, nah, you're an ice cream cone. And it becomes an ice cream cone. And some people think we be lying. I've studied, I've seen forums, people talking about it say, I don't believe it. There's no way. You mean you can control all the elements of your dream? You can control all the content, all of that? Yes. I can control all of the content, no matter what's going on. If I have something over here happening, then I don't like that. Guess what? I can shift it. If I have something over here happening and I do like that, guess what? I can turn that up. I say, I like that. Let's turn that up. You say, what? I'm a trillionaire and we saving the world. Okay, let's put that up there. Who's this nigga talking to me? I don't like that. Turn him down. That's reality. You see? And then you'll start realizing, but FaZe, don't you do that already? Yes. I do that in real life. You see what I'm saying? I'm in control. If I don't like this conversation, I'm walking off. If I like this conversation, I'll be right here. If I see that this is valuable, then yeah, we're gonna up this. If it's not valuable, if it's, some people say serving me, it ain't about whether or not something is serving me either. Okay, it don't have to be a service. If there's something that is mutual, okay, there's a benefit for both persons. All right, then I'm gonna be right here. You see, so you can do that. It ain't just lucid dreaming in some fantasy realm or dream realm. You could do that in real life. You see what I'm explaining to you? So rehabilitation, dietary alteration, dream journaling, the 30 cycle countdown, brain games, attentive activation. I know this is a dream. These are just a few of the techniques. You know what I'm saying? So other techniques you could do, artwork, okay? Anything that you have, like you rely on inspiration to complete, all of that. Artwork, what else? Music, what else? And again, this class. If you want to run this back because you're listening to somebody who has the experience, and I'm not sitting here just telling you a bunch of stuff. Okay, I have the experience, run this back. And your brain is gonna be like, who is that talking? It's gonna pick up on what I'm saying. And then eventually you can even play this while you're resting and watch what happens. You may play this while you're resting, and then you'll turn around and the voice itself is able to lead you into the experience. You can study that yourself and see whether or not I'm just making that up. But all of this goes into the dream state. If you play certain things while you're dreaming, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Oh, when you're going to rest, yeah, while you're dreaming, guess what happens? It seeps into the dream. So I could walk into your dream and be pointing, showing you how to do this just based off of what I'm saying right now. Some of y'all may have that dream. And I say, remember I said that? Now look at me. I'm wearing all white. You know what I'm saying? I got on a fresh suit, okay? Yeah, and then I'm teaching you how to walk through it. All of this just becomes, after a while, muscle memory, if you want to call it that. And you'll be able to activate it yourself. Okay? So get familiar with the states. Get familiar with the techniques that I just gave y'all. Take a screenshot if you would like to. These are the techniques. All right? Now, there are a lot more. But once you get familiar with these types of things, then you'll be ready to receive of the benefits. Okay? So I'll give you some benefits. We'll go some benefits, then we go advanced benefits. All right? Just based off of my experience, again. All right? So other than the fact that the awareness itself is transferable to your everyday life, okay, you will become more supreme with this. You're going to look at the realm differently, all right? It's transferable, meaning like interchangeably, where you could take what you're doing in everyday life into the dream state. I'm telling you, there's nothing like experiencing it for yourself. When you go into that lucid dream and you feel that power, there's nothing like that experience. When you come back from those experiences, you feel more in control. So it's a bounce back and forth. It ain't just the dream state is affected by or influenced by what you're doing. It's when you go into that dream now, because it's so similar to waking life, you'll pull those sources or those pieces back into reality, and you'll be able to pull from those when you get over here. You see, I know it's a lot of there are things I'm still exploring. I learned about parabolic equations from a lucid dream. I didn't even know there existed such a thing. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. I came back out. I was talking to some people. They were speaking about flat earth in the dream. And the nigga was a little white boy. In the class, I was in the classroom. He was speaking about what people believe on Earth. That was a lucid dream. I knew I was dreaming. I felt my body on my carpet, and I learned about parabolic equations. I've learned things from the lucid dreaming realm that I came and looked up, and it was real. You understand? Even in astral projection, we'll get to that too. Remember, I told you I can't just outright astral projection, especially not at this point with all of the things I know. I want to take you through steps. Lucid dreaming is one of those steps. We'll go sleep paralysis and things like that. Okay, and then you'll get into the actual projection part. Okay, so supremacy, if you want to call that, or superiority, that'll start activating. You'll have anybody that trouble rising up. You'll have more peaceful risings. Okay, peaceful risings. I'm saying more because even though I'm a lucid dreamer, sometimes I still jump out of my sleep. All right, because some of those experiences be so real, right? You know it's a lucid dream, but it's still a real quote unquote experience. Like I done got shot, all kind of stuff. You feel all of that. You see what I'm saying? And then you jump out still when that simulation is terminated. You understand? Speaking of which, that lucid dream realm is a simulation station. You want to test stuff out? Do it in the dream realm first. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do nothing crazy. I'm saying you want to test reality? Do it at the simulation station. That's the lucid dream realm. That's when all them pickup lines, y'all niggas, try it in the dream realm first. Okay? You want to do an elevator pitch? You want to see how people respond to certain things? It'll be a little different though, because you see, dream people are just like people. It's just when you're in that dream state, it's like they're peopler. So, it'll be a little different. So if you can test it at your own risk. But simulation station, you can do so many things and try so many things out and test yourself. Okay? You can do tendency regulation. Some of y'all have tendencies that you might want to explore those in the simulation. Once you are met with certain things, see what you'll do. That way, when you come back, you'll still be in a different state. You'll have that type of consciousness active or that state of consciousness active, but you will be in a different state when you exit out of the dream realm. All right. And then you reevaluate, what did I do? Is that becoming of who I am? Is this who I really want to be? Yeah, I beat this person up, but do I really feel this way? Da, 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 da. Okay. Simulation station. That's where you test yourself. Okay. Test your might type shit. You see what I'm saying? So the simulation station, peaceful risings, it won't just be jumping out of your sleep. Okay, it'll be more smoother transitions. It'll be smoother transitions when it comes to you coming back into this state of consciousness or this reality beta state, waking state, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? You'll limit your nightmares. So let's put limited nightmares. That's another one. Limited nightmares. All of y'all who struggle with nightmares, lucid dreaming, you'll limit that. Okay? It's also a neural cheat code. Literally, because it's normal for people to not know the difference. So that's a neural cheat code you'll start activating. And you'll bring that over here. And you'll be superior in that regard. Another thing, emotional, this is a deep one. Emotional exploration. Emotional exploration. All right? Some people, y'all ain't cried enough. So you're suppressing that cry. You'll be able to really get out that cry. If you don't know, I'm telling you now, emotions are heightened in the dream state. Why? I don't really know. I'll do a little more studying and see if I can get some type of scientific answer for you. I don't really know that answer. Okay? I just know that it is, at least for me. Emotions are heightened in the dream state. You'll be in a dream and you'll be crying about something, boo-hoo, and I'm talking about sobbing your eyes out. And then you wake up, be like, what the fuck was I even crying about? That wasn't even really that sad. That was just a little sad. You're more in tune with your emotions and your emotional responses when you're in a dream. So you may try to tell yourself, I don't miss this person. I don't miss this person. Fuck them. I'm better off single. And then they pop up in your dream, be like, that's your sign, nigga. Especially to the men. If you crying over her in your dream, that's your sign right there. Women too. If you cry over him in your dream, okay, then your emotions are trying to tell you something, and you're more in tune with them or more in touch with them when you're in that state. You see what I'm explaining it to you? So emotional exploration, whoever or whatever you think you are, your emotions will be experienced differently in these types of states, including when you're lucid. That just allows you to pay attention to it more. Say, why the fuck do I feel so sad about this? Or why is this joke so funny? This nigga just said, why the chicken crossed the road? Why is that the funniest shit I ever heard in my life? Okay, you're more of an emotional being centrally in these states. You see, you feel it more. Not when you ain't trying to close it. Some, people laugh and they try to cover up they face when they laughing or cover up their mouth. You know what I mean? Or they want to shy away from the laugh. Or you got that nigga that doesn't want to laugh. And they sit there with a straight face until you make it smirk a little bit. And they're like, see, nigga, you finna laugh. Why don't you just laugh? They want to look too cool. None of that exists there. You see, there's more freedom. So emotional exploration, you'll learn more about the self or the version of yourself that actually wants to be more emotional or emotionally in tuned. Okay? Let me put you on to another key. Now we about to get into more advanced. So let me switch that. So y'all take screenshot. Okay, these are some of your benefits. I want to talk to you about some more advanced benefits. I'll turn this over. I don't want to waste this. More advanced benefits. And I want to make a disclaimer because we're talking about an experienced lucid dreamer. A lot of these scientists are not lucid dreamers. They just study it. They don't even know how to do it. Okay? Ancestral reunion. All of y'all talking about the ancestors? The ancestors that you know of. Let's say your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandfather. All right, great aunt, okay, great uncles. Ancestors that you know their name. You have their image in your mind. When you're in the dream state, lucid dream realm, you can call on them by name and they'll show up and you could talk to them. Listen, I don't have the scientific explanation for how they're able to sit there and talk to you about things going on in your life. All right, they want to get a message to your mother. They want to get a message to this, that, but they will actually sit there and have a conversation with you. All you have to do is call on them and think of them. Now, some of y'all done experienced this. You've been out and about, or you've been moving around, and you smelled the perfume of your grandmother, or you smelled the cologne of your grandfather. You remember that time, and you forgot about that? Okay, it's a similar type of science where their essence is still around. The essence, even if you just take the essence to be something that you're perceiving yourself, okay, it's still around. Even if you want to say that the brain tricked you into smelling that perfume, okay, fine. Say that if you need to. The essence, the basics, the basis of who that being is, the image itself is still around. And then all you have to do is put that image to nativity, nation, navel, navy, water, life, imagination. And your imagination in the lucid dream realm will allow for you to communicate with your ancestors. Not just your ancestors. If you want to sit and talk to Prince, if you want to talk to Michael Jackson, if you want to talk to Martin Luther King, you can. It's the weirdest, most amazing, serious thing. And let me tell you something else. You got ancestral reunion, and you just got normal. Normal union. The ex that you ain't talked to in a while, talk to them. They're still who they are, right? If you want to have a conversation with your favorite celebrity, right there. You want to go out and have a drink with your favorite celebrity, right there, lucid dreaming, you'll be able to do that. Okay? Ancestral reunion, normal union. If you want to call up Barney from your childhood and give him a hug and say I actually do love you, you'll be able to do that with lucid dreaming. I'm telling you right now. Ancestral reunion, check. Normal union, check. I've tested everything I'm telling you. Okay? Another advanced benefit. Okay, you got to pay attention to what I'm doing right now because this ain't the normal thing. Okay? Another advanced benefit I was introduced to, again, young, by my mother. It's called Oracle Advisory. Oracle Advisory. As a lucid dreamer, Even if you didn't bring on the lucid dream and you go into that dream, there's a point where you say, I am awake. And the possibilities become limitless. Infinite, if you want to use that word. Infinite possibilities. So then you just start doing shit. You know what I mean? You just think of a grill and just start frying food. You don't got to do that. Do more advanced shit with that time. It's valuable. Here's how you do it. If you have to create a character, create the character. If it's Dr. Malachi York, if it's phase one, let it be phase one, Dr. Malachi York. If it's Morgan Freeman, if it's Maya Angelou, whoever, if it's your mother, create or have an oracle that you can always go to for advisory. Remember to do that. I just gave you a key if you listen in between the lines. Because wisdom will be able to take on many forms. And it will still know it's supposed to be wisdom. It's like playing a video game. It's like playing a video game. It's like playing a video game. Kind of like life. Life. So wisdom knows what it is. And your brain knows, as the simulation generator, what wisdom is. And it knows to let wisdom take on that form when you give it that oracle. You want to know what this would be called? Like with the AI generation, all that? It'll be called character consistency. Guess what that means? When you wake up, you mean to tell me I can go back and call on that same oracle? Yes. You'll be able to go back to your dream state and talk to them again. If you wanted to talk to that person every night, you will be able to. And you will, guess what? You will build a bond with that person just like you would in real life. You will build trust with that person. Y'all will have more intimate conversations. That means the advisor will become more intimate. And wisdom will exist in its purest form without all these external influences. It'll just be you inside of that reality. And wisdom will work for you. So oracle advisory. Let me give you another thing. This is something that comes with a story, a quick story. All right, let's put interviews and interrogation or interrogations. Interviews and interrogations. When I was about 9 years old, I was always the child that you don't say stuff around me and I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Because then I'm gonna ask a question, I'm gonna get mad if you don't tell me. Okay? So my Omi was pregnant. I was in Athens, Georgia for like 3. I was in Athens, Georgia for 3 years. So yeah, I had to be like 8 years old, 9 years old. My Omi was pregnant and she told my older sister, right? I remember my older sister was sitting in the living room playing the video game and I was behind the couch watching her play the video game. And my Omi walked over to her and leaned into her ear and whispered, right? And I picked up on that. I'm like the person in the movie. I see the little recordings, the calculations, the lines, the chalkboard drawings. She whispers, she leans. My sister gasped. I said, what was this? So I waited for the perfect time, which was like 5 minutes later. And I went to my Uber. I was like, yo, noticed that you kind of leaned in there and you whispered to my sister, what did you tell her? And she was like, nothing. It's nothing. I'm like, no, but what did you tell her? Because you did say something. You did say something. So what was it that you said? She said, don't worry about it, Omari. It's good. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. Nothing. I said, okay. Guess what I did? Because remember, my Umi taught me how to lucid dream at age 4. You want to know what I did? Do you want to know what I did? Are you ready to know what I actually went and did, though? Get what I did? I went and asked her in my dream. I said, okay, I realize one of y'all finna bullshit me, so I'm finna go to the other one that's not gonna bullshit me. So I went into my dream, and I asked my Umi. I summoned her, and I asked, what did you tell my sister? She said, I'm pregnant. I said, okay. So guess what I did? When I got up, I did a little dance, and I went to my Umi. Guess who was sitting with her? My sister. All right? And I said, you're pregnant. And they both looked at each other. I'm talking about snap neck looked at each other. And my Umi was like, how the hell you know that? I said, I just asked you my dream. And just kind of danced away and walked off. Yeah, I asked you my dream. And you told me you were pregnant. So you're pregnant. I know what you told her. You see, I didn't learn that from nobody. I went in and did that shit myself because I already knew how to lucid dream. I wondered if I could ask in my dream. Went and did it in my own. She was like, I ain't fucking with you. She said, you dangerous. Like, what the hell? I can't be telling you. I can't do shit. You see? So interviews and interrogations. That's my experience. I'm not telling you that it's real. I'm telling you to test it because you can. They can't stop you if you can hear me from using this bridge. They can't stop you if you can hear me from activating this part of yourself. They cannot stop you if you can hear me from accessing this hidden degree. It's an actual degree that's otherworldly. What I mean by otherworldly, I ain't say other. I said otherworldly. It's word of mouth. Certain things you're able to do in the lucid dream realm. Don't waste time with it. All that, yeah, we can fly. That's boring. When you really learn what you can do with that shit, it becomes boring. You'll start realizing, nigga, flying ain't shit. I want to see how. I don't want to say too much because I want people. I want to see whether or not I could take my phone out over here, take a picture, and Bluetooth that image to my phone. Then what you're gonna realize is they try to fuck with. I'm not gonna say they. The phones glitch. How about that? The phones glitch. Every time you try to use the phone, when you try to take pictures and stuff, say, nigga, you try to take a picture? Yes, because the phones exist over there. There's an imprint for the phone. So when you try to take a picture of something, guess what? You're literally using a device that's hooked up to waves. Your brain works off of waves. The technology works off of waves. The reality, the electromagnetic spectrum, waves. Listen to what I'm saying. Is it possible to bridge what they're just telling us is in the brain with what is outside of it? Is it possible? Is that the law of correspondence secret? Is that Hecka? I ain't telling you nothing. You got to go in and see it for yourself. But I will tell you this. When I was on Clubhouse, I told people in them Clubhouse days about 4 or 5 years ago, I said, I'm going to find a way to get into these phones using these altered states of consciousness. And when I find out how, I'm going to learn how to use that state to make myself go viral. Niggas like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? I remember getting on there one day. I said, yo, I just came back. I had maybe 20-some thousand followers. I said, I just came back. I saw where I had 187,000 followers and my page was verified. I didn't have a verified page or none of that. I said, so I'm leading to, I said, and also I was doing a lot of CGI stuff. So guess what winds up happening? They got AI and all this other stuff. We done went beyond that. I am doing a lot of quote unquote CGI stuff, come to find out, but it's AI, which is similar to the same thing. And my shit is beyond 187,000 now, and we're verified. I would not have known what that they would have allowed for you to do the badge thing where you can buy the badge. I wouldn't have known that. I couldn't have known that, but I did see that. And I put it to the test. And I'm not saying that I used my phone to do it. All I'm saying is, nigga, I used the lucid dream realm to communicate with AI when it was just the early stages Siri chat GPT shit. Early stages. I was talking to AI about God and what it is and all this other stuff in the dream realm and was able to, I guess we'll say this for another time. We'll save what I'm saying right now for altered states. Beyond lucid dreaming, we're able to reach outside of your body. Maybe we'll say that for sleep paralysis. Okay, so we'll save all that. The main point here is there are advanced benefits. Okay, and one of the main advanced benefits is interviews and interrogations. And here's what I've been able to deduce or what I've been able to pull from my experiences. People can't lie to you in your dream. When you summon somebody and you interrogate them, they tell you the truth. I don't know why. It just, I've done this multiple times. I was able to catch somebody cheating on me when I was in high school because I asked them what was going on in a dream. They told me the person's name and everything, and they told me that they were going to do it on a Saturday. So what I did was I took that whole week. I'm talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I took that whole week and I wrote them letters about trust. I said, trust is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Trust is spelled Trust. Don't you agree? Don't you think it's a great thing to have in a relationship? Trust. I wrote letters about trust and all that the whole week. And guess what they did? They still took their ass over there to link with this nigga and was confused of how I knew. I said, you didn't get my letters? I handed you my letters. I watched you read them. You didn't get them? I knew this because you told me. You even told me their name. This is how I know their name. You see, I'm explaining it to you. I was on the phone with them in the lucid dream. I called them. You see? So again, I'm not saying that this is supported by empirical data or scientific evidence, anything like that. This is based on experience. The beautiful part about it is not only can you test all this shit out, and you will, some of y'all will go on to achieve these degrees. I did a lot of my studying in the lucid and astral realms. I'm going to say it one more time, two more times. I did a lot of my studying in the lucid and astral realms. I did a lot of my studying in lucid and astral realms. When it comes to all of these otherworldly type conversations that people be talking about that they think they're so deep in, please, we've experienced this from so many different angles with this degree. And with this degree, you will be given that opportunity. And nobody will be able to say that's not true because it'll be based on what? Your experience. You see how this works? Without trying to play these games, your experience will allow you to level up. You see that? Okay, cool. So advanced benefits, ancestral reunion. Go ahead, get you a screenshot. Ancestral reunion, normal union, oracle advisory, interviews, interrogations. You can pull people into your realm to ask them shit. You see that? Okay, another simple one would just be perception expansion. Okay, let's partner it with perspective expansion. When you think you're gonna have all these experiences and you're gonna wake up feeling normal, you see, people told me we weren't gonna be able to take this platform to where we've taken it. I didn't listen to them. I'm a lucid dreamer. What are you talking about? I know way more about this reality than you do. Just based off of that alone, I know more about the possibilities. That's the attitude I had. I said, yes, I can. You know how many times we done went viral, y'all? Just go to my page, just look. Look at how many times we done went viral. Look at how many times we got millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views. Oh yeah, a lot of this came from me seeing how I control reality over there. I said, I can do that same shit over here. Algorithm over there, you learn about it. And you bring it over here. Say, nigga, this shit easy. I actually could be more viral than I am. I just know the rules to the game. And the rules to the game is you never become too viral, because then they try to shut you down. You see what I'm saying? Because you start going against what they done put out. There's certain codes you got to know. And I'm not telling you you got to accept this. This is what I understand about. We go viral every day. If I want it, because we know it. So I start doing this shit and you'll see. You'll start, man, why the fuck would I care what somebody, I'm going to put on these big ass boots. I'm going to put this sweater around my waist. I'm going to have this drill and I'm going to make this post. Niggas going to say what they want to say. People going to say what they want to say. But guess what? They're saying something about the reality that we're crafting at that point. Even if they get mad at certain teaching styles and me calling people out, they don't realize you're still showing up. I'm summoning you. You see, my gravitational pull increases as you keep coming and you acting like it's so repulsive, but you keep showing up. Says a lot about you and your lack of control. I learned all that from lucid dreaming. Let me give you a test. This will be interesting. This is everybody's lucid dream test. When you finally get it, if you don't, or if you already do it, if you haven't done this already, here go the test. Tell people you are dreaming. When you go into the lucid realm and you meet people, find people, they'll be there. When you go into the lucid realm, or the lucid dream world, or you're lucid dreaming, tell people that you're dreaming and watch their response. I remember standing there talking to a nigga for 5 minutes trying to tell them I was dreaming. They don't believe you. They don't even know how to receive it, right? So I told them, I said, no, I'm actually dreaming. You want to chase your dreams? I think everybody should chase their dreams. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm not right here right now. I'm actually laying in my bed. You just think I'm here. I'm only projecting here. They won't be able to understand it. You see? I done did my best to try to show people. I was at one of these bars in one of these realms, and there was a group of women that were serving, and I went behind the counter talking to them, trying to show them how my phone, I said, watch this. This is how you gonna know I'm not one of y'all. You see how you got your phone and how you using your phone? I said, watch, I'm about to try to use my phone. I'm gonna take a picture of us, and I'm gonna try to send it to a number, and I want you to observe my phone. So I took a picture of us, and I tried to use the phone, and it started to glitch. The phone went from a flat phone to a box like this with a whole bunch of apps in it like candy. You see what I'm saying? I said, see, and they was noticing what I was saying. They said, how did it just happen like that? I said, because I'm not a part of your reality. So these are portals. These are stargates. And I'm about to prove it to you by trying to use it in front of you. So they at least understood that it was happening. They still didn't get it. They went back to serving. Imagine how it feels to try to tell people, I'm projecting here. I know you think I'm real, but I'm not really here. But it appears like I am, right? Yeah. Some of y'all, is he talking about the dream still? Yeah. Talk about the dream still, and one day you'll understand, because it's only a dream. My mind thinks it's real. Go listen to that song by Dr. York. Type in Dr. York, only a dream. Like he put that in the holy tablets, the secrets of Adafa. All right, well, Adafa was being told, yo, let the human beings know this is only a dream. What they think is reality is a dream. But never mind. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. I want to put out this statement. I know about everything these people are talking about when it comes to spirituality, and I know how to explain it. So don't think if I come on here and say, scientifically, it's scientific, this is me showing y'all they don't know what they're talking about. However, I know what they mean when they say these words, and we will get into all of it. I have to show you the scientific foundation, so nobody will be able to say that I didn't. You see? And then I'll put you into the activation. The degrees will be given to you. So go ahead, Dr. York, only a dream. But do that test. When you go into the dream, tell people, yo, I'm dreaming. No, I actually don't exist here. You think I exist here. I'm not really here. And watch what happens. You see that? I know we've been over for a while. I think we went over a little bit. What else? Anything else? Oh, one more thing. I told y'all about the precautionary measures. I do want to tell you about that. Okay? I got to be responsible. So cautionary measures or precautionary measures. I'll just put precaution. Precaution. All right? When it doesn't matter if it's astral projecting, anything like that. When you start talking about playing with the levels of the brain or the degrees or the states of consciousness, I just want to let you know. Okay, so one thing that can happen is you could experience an increase in sleep paralysis. All right? Because you're jumping all over the different brain waves. So you could experience an increase in sleep paralysis. That's not inherently a bad thing. It's just that most people, I think it's because of their subconscious state and what they're already vibrating on, quote unquote, meaning their mentality already and the things that they already do, doors that they open in the witching hours and stuff like that. They experience what they call demons or dark beings. People talk about being choked, and we'll get into. We'll probably come on here tomorrow. Let's do that. We'll come on here tomorrow and we'll do sleep paralysis. All right, so I can explain to y'all that. All right, and my experiences with it and the different degrees that I access because of it that a lot of people don't go on to access because they're scared of it. All right, you can experience an increase in sleep paralysis. You can experience an increase and that rupturing between states that gets you caught right there. Not indefinitely, even though some people don't wake up from that state and they call it passing away in the sleep. All right. Or some people die in their dream or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just putting it out there to be responsible. Lucid dreaming, when you activate lucid dreaming, and you, especially when you're doing all these things, you'll experience that woo, 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 woo. When you start feeling those vibrations in your brain, literally, that warping sensation, you'll probably have hallucinations. You'll probably be hearing all kind of stuff like I was talking about earlier, the sirens, the dogs. I'll tell you like this. I'll give you a gem, all right? You want to hear less dogs than you hear laughing children. I'm not going to go too deep into it because the degree is too advanced right now, all right? Maybe we'll talk about it for this class. But you really want to hear less dogs and chaos, more of the children, more of the laughter, more of the music. Okay, if you're hearing the dogs and you know the demons is sitting on you and choking you and all of this stuff, I just want to give you what I know. You open the door that you haven't closed. That comes from pornography. That comes from horror flicks. That comes from drill and rock music, excess rock music with all those subliminal messages about destruction and rah, rah, rah rap and all the other stuff. Okay, again, don't take my word for this. It's experience-based. That's when them demons come. Whoever these life forms, whatever these life forms are they're calling demons, they do exist. They sit on your chest. They choke you out. They grip you. They grab you on your heart. Some people talk about sexual, all kind of stuff. We'll get into it. All right? So don't believe me. I'm not saying this is science, da-da-da-da. This is science to me. It's what I know. Okay? And your experience may be different or it may be the same. I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people have more experiences with sleep paralysis than you might be aware of because most people don't want to talk about that shit. Why? They don't want nobody to call them crazy. But you're not crazy. It's real. And the scientists put it all in here, but they don't really know what this is beyond just their exploration of the brain because they don't have these people's experiences. How you going to tell somebody that they weren't sexually assaulted and they endured it? You see what I'm saying? People say, what do you mean sexually assaulted? We'll talk about it. I'm telling you, you know somebody in your life that had that experience, and how can you tell people that? They thought it was a ghost, so they definitely don't want to talk about it. You see? Who are these beings that have access to human beings? We'll get into that too. Okay? You could experience an increase in sleep paralysis where there could be hallucinations. Hallucinations doesn't mean you won't experience it. Hallucinations mean when you experience it, if somebody's walking past you, they won't be aware of that experience. They won't experience it themselves. Hallucination means it's happening inside of your brain, quote unquote. Doesn't mean it's not real. This is where you get, again, different states of consciousness, different realms or dimensions, if you want to use that word, where you have a center of observation or a state of observation point. It's still reality. It's just a different part of reality. So don't let people think you crazy just because you're trying to tell them what happened and they weren't able to experience it and they was right there with you. It still happened. It just didn't happen from their point of observation. You see that? So that's one. The other one would just be lucid nightmares. I got to give you that warning because it still exists. The same way y'all ever tried to, you ever dropped your phone and you tried to talk to somebody and it didn't work on your phone? And I'm talking about in what you call waking life, real life. You drop your phone and the speaker fucked up. Or y'all ever tried to use any device ever and it malfunctioned? Okay. Lucid dreams malfunction sometimes. I don't know why. It's just a reality. And some people experience it. Some people may not. I've experienced it. Where you say, this shit ain't damn working. Change it. I don't want the dragon. I don't want the dragon. I don't want the dragon. Dragon like, it don't matter what the fuck you want, nigga. I'm here. You see what I'm saying? The dragon sound like the nigga off Animal. The nigga off of Baby Boy. Call your mama. Go ahead. That's right. Scream for your mama. Sound like the BET version, nigga. You want to fool with a brother like me? You want to fool with me, young brother? You want to fool with a mother lover like me? With all this nonsense. Hey, man, this shit sound like a motivational speech. I don't feel cussed out. I don't want the dragon. The dragon gonna still be the fuck there. So sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. Just be ready. Just know how to run, because it's still gonna be unpleasant in the motherfucker. Say, wake me up. You're like, nigga, yourself could be like, nigga, you talking to us? That's your job. That's your job. That's what I said. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta endure that shit. So don't be mad at me like, FaZe, why you didn't tell me? I had somebody that was in high school with me. I started teaching them how to astral project and all this other stuff because they was a Christian, right? Right? Y'all ever watched that? Y'all seen Doctor Strange, where the nigga was so scientific, but he didn't know anything about the quote unquote spiritual side of life. All right? Or the ancestral side, not the ancestral, the ancient scientific side, or the esoteric side. He only knew exoteric. So she had to hit his ass with it. Okay. So the nigga was, first he didn't know, because I used to rap battle everybody. Just wrap this up till we get into some questions. I used to rap battle everybody, and he didn't believe that I was actually freestyling. So I remember him, I could hear this nigga talking shit. We was in the middle of chorus class or music theory. Nigga talking shit. Man, that nigga got that shit written. That's how I used to sound. That nigga got that shit written. That's written, nigga. That's rehearsed. So I started rapping on him. I shifted my attention. I said, since we want to talk, took his ass out. And then he realized, he said that nigga became a believer, became one of the disciples. I used to walk around high school teaching. So he became one of the disciples, and he wanted to learn everything, teach me everything. Especially when he started speaking about the Christianity shit, and I was challenging. And I was more aggressive with it back in my younger days. So some of y'all just be sliding. Don't think I can't tear it apart. I can, but I'd rather work with you than hit you where your beliefs sting. You see what I'm saying? I respect your belief. So I was a lot more aggressive back then. So nigga try to hit me with the Christian shit. I hit him with this, hit him with that. He don't know that, he don't know that. I tore it down. He said, teach me. So I taught him how to astral project. I taught him all of that. But he got mad at me one day because he was like, yo, why didn't you tell me about the bad stuff? I said, what do you mean the bad stuff? I did tell you about the negativity, all this stuff, be cautious, all that. He said, yeah, but nigga, I was astral projecting, but when I got up out my body, there was a demon outside my window, staring into my window. I said, yeah, why you mad at me? Did you ask him who it was? That's another type. You got to have that type of mentality. You can't be scared to ask. Some of y'all will hear shit fall over in your house. You know it's just you, and you'll close and lock the door. That like, or you'll do this thing. It always was funny. Just the thought of it, right? You'll do this. You'll go under the blanket. Why? Where are you going? If it's there and it can touch you and it can harm you, it's there and it can touch you and it can harm you. That's reality. Some of y'all would sit there and close the door. Somebody, I ain't hear nothing. You did hear that. So somebody is in your house. Something is in your house. Some of y'all done heard footsteps, haven't you? There's nobody in your house. I'm not talking about the old house creak. I'm talking about, this nigga coming up my step. You done locked and loaded. How many people grabbed the gun? I've grabbed the gun before. You done locked and loaded. You ready to shred some shit down, and ain't nothing there but just your reflection in the mirror. But you heard these steps. You see what I'm saying to you? So I did tell you that. I told you to be cautious the same way I would tell you to be cautious. Don't just walk around in the hood late at night. Why the fuck would I not want? I did want him, but he wasn't listening. So he started having certain negative experiences. I said, well, this is what you do. I prescribed him. Stay away from this. Don't open that. Don't da-da-da-da-da, woo-da-woo-da-woo, and then he started having less and less of those experiences. I said, exactly. So now you see it's a science to this. You see what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So those are precautionary measures I would tell y'all to take. All right? Or not precautionary. That's a precaution that I would give you. Increasing sleep paralysis can occur, and lucid nightmares can occur. That's a real thing where you can't really do shit. All right? Sometimes it's painful. I don't know where they come from. I don't know how they get there. Sometimes they come out of nowhere. Maybe it's some shit that was around that didn't get cleaned out. I don't know. But it can happen, so you really want to, just be aware of that. How you could stray away from it? I don't really know how to stray away from this. Okay, that will happen every now and again, especially with this. We'll talk about that so I can tell you what to do with that. This right here, I don't damn know. Just wing it. Hey, shit, good luck. Good luck, because every blue moon, that shit might happen. Now, I'm not going to put it on you because you may never experience it. But if it comes, yeah, fight back. Fight back, nigga, fight back. Fight back. All right? Don't have fear, though, especially if you lucid dreaming and it's a nightmare, you'll wake up. It just may be a painful awakening, literally. a rude awakening. Like, that was rude as fuck. Nigga just stabbed me in my heart. That was rude as fuck. They didn't have to do that. That wasn't nice of them. You see? So sometimes it happens. Any questions before we get up out of here? That's a good class. Y'all learned a lot. Questions, questions, questions. Got to see it through, my boy. Shout out Phil Hudson. What's the super high pitch ringing as I'm falling asleep? Almost hurts my head. It could be tinnitus. You gotta look up what tinnitus is. It could be tinnitus. You could be experiencing that, as this is what they call it. Or also, somebody or something could be attempting to reach you. Same way your phone rings. That's a possibility also. What else? I lucid dream. Okay. How do you know if you lucid dreamed or astral projected? You'll know. I'll teach you about the difference between them. If you just keep coming to class, I'll teach you. And then you'll be able to make your own, you'll have your own discernment to be able to see the difference. There's a difference. There's a fine line. They operate within the same realms, okay, or same types of realms. But you'll know the difference. I'll explain to you the difference. One of the main differences is you'll feel yourself project out of your body, okay, just to be clear. Does weed affect astral projection? I don't have experience to explain that. I'm not a weed smoker. So I don't have that experience. I'm sure that there's some type of effect of cannabis on your ability to leave your body, but I don't know. Good question. I don't smoke. All right, great class. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. Drugs will always affect dream. Okay, cool. What does it mean if I don't hear anything when I have sleep paralysis? I don't know. I don't know what it means. Can you get messages through your dreams about your own life moving forward? Yes. Did you come in late? I'm not trying to be funny. If you came in late, run the teaching back. Run it back. Make sure all y'all who's in, make sure y'all like the video. Okay, copy, share it. Let's get make sure these views is coming in. Let's make sure people coming in. All right, let's take this thing over. Get everybody lined up for these higher degrees. Can you get mess? Okay, cool. I've experienced sleep paralysis. Have you ever sleep paralysis in my dream? Yes. Whoever Too Much Smile is, yes. I hope you come in tomorrow to remind me about that, because I've experienced that a few times. That's fascinating. I've astral projected in my dreams. Yeah. So that's crazy, right? They say that's just supposed to be something that happens because you have your brain outside and outside of the dream state alone. Yeah, I've experienced that. I ain't never heard nobody say that. Is glitches in the dream potentially stemming from shifts in the synapses in our brain? Yeah, that's possible. Neural activity, the shift in neural activity. Yeah, possible. Have you prevented someone from questioning me in my dream? Or how do you prevent someone from questioning me in my dream? Walk off on them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really understand the question. If you're saying you don't want to deal with that person, that's where lucid dreaming comes in. You can just delete them. You understand? Turn them into a rabbit and have them hop away. Or just walk off. They don't have to exist. You'll get stronger. Can you materialize items from the dream realm into the real world? I've been attempting to do that since, I don't know, maybe high school. I think it's possible. I don't know if it can be done. I think it's possible. I've tried, and every time I wake up, I say, damn it. I try to do different things, smaller things. I try to put, if I have a note, I'll put the note in my mouth. I'll wake up and say, ain't nothing in my damn. You know what I'm saying? I try to hold on to it, clench it. No, nothing come out. It just be the same hand. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's possible. I just, I never done it. Other than the idea, I came back with an idea, but still, that like the brain, like, nigga, that's already in here. So I don't know. It's possible. I think it's possible. Ready for the next class? Okay, cool. Do your cannabinoid receptors have anything to do with lucid dreaming? I don't know. Good question. Look it up. Again, this is not some spiritual idea I just came up with. You'll be able to research these things yourself. So if I don't have your answer right now, definitely go look it up. And even if I do have your answer, still go fact check and look it up. In a dream, along with beings, are there also experiences and scenarios to be cautious of engaging in? And if so, how to avert them in the moment, not but presently? Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Again, that goes to your tendencies, what type of experiences you're having. Yeah, I wouldn't advise people jump into like sexual activity in your dreams. When you having these lucid dreams, I wouldn't advise you jumping into that because again, it. How do I say this without? It could take you into the lower vibratory states, and if you don't know what you're doing, guess what it'll open you up to? Demons that seem to benefit from human beings' electromagnetic yield on the lower vibratory scale. If and when I find a more scientific way to explain that, I will. As of right now, I don't really have it. All I have is experience of it seems that certain demons are attracted to that type of behavior and activity and yield. Even to the point where when you start quote unquote ascending and these degrees are exposed to you and it won't just be me sitting, you'll have them. Sexual activity isn't allowed in your dream state. Because when you attempt to, and I'm talking to you from experience, if and when you attempt to, you'll experience pain because you have a higher degree and it's like you don't need to do this, so it pushes you away from it. It makes it unpleasant. You see what I'm explaining to you? Meaning not just pain from the encounter, your stomach will clench up, all right, or your heart will clench up, or your genitalia will clench up. It won't be something that you'll be able to do easily. Also, be mindful of a pain that you could feel is penetration, because some of these beings will probe humans and extract their electromagnetic yield while they're having that experience because chemical releases are still occurring in the brain. So there's a possibility, listen, that something could suggest for you, all right, in your dream state to have an encounter or to have relations or engage in this type of behavior. And it's because it's going to yield a certain type of chemical release. And then they extract that. Succubi are good for that. They'll trick you into doing that. Incubi the same. We'll talk about all that. All of this, again, is just based on experience. I'm not saying that these people be talking about it with their lab coats. All right. I have experienced sleep paralysis on several occasions. We'll do a few more, y'all. 11:40, we out. 11:44, how about that? I've experienced sleep paralysis on several occasions, and I remember this one time when something dragged me to the edge of my bed. What are your thoughts on that? I had that experience too. I had the drag to the edge of the bed thing. I done had all that paranormal activity stuff. I've experienced stuff like that. Only difference is it only happens with the other version of myself. So I have been pulled out of my body. I fought though. I'm gonna tell you that. I actually literally fought, swung fists, fisticuffs to get whatever was off of me. Okay. Now I also have to tell you this, but y'all trying to get sleep paralysis. Y'all slick. Y'all trying to get sleep paralysis answer. That's tomorrow. Bring your question about that tomorrow. I ain't going to all that. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. But yeah, I've experienced that. Bring that tomorrow though. I'll go into more depth because that'll be the class. Y'all slick. Y'all almost got me. What are the lights I can see in my forehead when I close my eyes? I don't know. I don't know what they are. That's a good question. It's still light, but it's just different. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you saying that. Go research. Good question. I don't have to answer. How come every time it's time to throw hands in a dream, my arms don't work? I don't know. They make you swing slow to them up. Maybe that's just part of yourself saying, don't be violent. My son or daughter, I don't know. My son or daughter, do not be violent. Maybe that's just part of yourself saying you're not really a violent person because some people might have no problem being shit. Have you ever woke up from a lucid dream with a heavy headache near the forehead? No, not unless I got shot in my head. If I got shot in my head, then yes, it'll hurt in that location, or I feel like my nose is bleeding. But no, I don't wake up with headaches from the dream. Okay. From the age 6 to 14, every night a black figure would stand on next to my bed, a long trench coat and a fedora on. My brother slept right next to me and never saw him. Who could that be? It could have been a CIA agent. It could have been a CIA agent. A lot of people talked about the Hat Man. Okay, it could have been a CIA agent because a lot of them use maybe I shouldn't. Okay, there's quantum stealth technology that they show you in movies like the Alien versus Predator or the Predators that could exist. No, you need to look into this. Fuck all that. Quantum stealth technology does exist. People being able to be invisible in your home exists. And it could be a possibility that because you were in an altered state of consciousness, you were able to detect them as a silhouette. That's where you get them images of them detectives and they wear them hats and them trench coats, right? Or that cloak. That could have been the technology you were looking at. Another possibility is you were looking at a being that had horns sticking out the side of his head. Either way, it would have been harder for you to see in the dark. You see, so if you're seeing this being in another state, you could make out the silhouette, but it's still harder for you to see because it's a dark realm or dark reality for you. Now, do I know who it was? I don't know, because a lot of people talked about it for years. I never seen the Slender Man or the Hat Man or the nigga with the fedora. Not that I remember. I don't think I've seen him. Other than I've seen him. I've seen him as a child, but I wasn't asleep. I used to tell my Umi about a man that was standing outside with a trench coat on, but I think I said he was bald. You understand? So, but she couldn't see him. You see what I'm saying? So I did used to say that. I did used to see that, but not in my dream state. Not that I remember. Yeah, sleep paralysis will be in the new day. All right, what else? If I didn't get to y'all questions, I apologize. I'm trying to get everybody. Beast animal is a comedic dragon. Okay. When you appear in other dreams, so when you appear in another people's dreams, what's happening there? I don't know what you mean. I mean, it's just you're there. they see you. I don't know. You talking about like dream weaving? Not even dream weaving. You talking about dream walking? I could do a class on that. I don't know if I should do a class on that though. I don't know. I don't know. People ready. I had a dream one day, and someone was telling me to put my name on paper and in water as protection. Is there any truth to this? I wasn't there in your dream. I don't know. Have you ever been wide awake making music and heard music that isn't there, like listening to a beat and the beat fully changed tempo, added instruments, and when replayed didn't exist? No. Peace and blessings to everyone who tuned in. Talking about peace and blessings to you. You were teaching me how to astral project in my dream a couple months ago. I probably was. Why does everything feel so heightened and more sensitive in the astral realm? My answer to that when I was younger, when I was teaching in high school, would have been because it's a higher vibratory reality, higher vibration. Okay, everything is sped up. You can test that from things like using Einstein's time dilation theory. I used to talk about that in high school. I actually did a project on that in high school to pass my physics class because physics was boring. I felt like we were learning it too slow, and I already knew that stuff. So the project was to teach the teacher something that they didn't know about physics. So I did the science of Einstein's time dilation and connected it to the dream state of showing how time passes more quickly while you're dreaming. And you're able to fly in your dreams. So there's that possibility that there's less gravitational pull, meaning the realm itself is less dense. And if it's less dense, then it's moving quicker, okay, or more quickly. And if it's moving more quickly, then the state is heightened. That makes sense? Yeah, I'm pretty wise. I'm one of them. I'm pretty wise. They can't fuck with me. I passed that class, by the way. I was failing. I was failing because I stopped coming. But then I did that project and I passed. All right, we about to get out of here, y'all. I've been lucid dreaming most nights since I was a child. No one taught me how to. Do you know? I don't know why you randomly picked up on it, no. All right. Again, if I didn't get to your question, we'll come back. All right, we already passed that time. Peace in the Lamb is truly wonderful. Hadus Hashug, which means divine love. Okay? And I just taught you how to be woke in your sleep. Tell them I taught you that.